the cortex, and the precortex is associated with the spreading and storage of long-term memory also. And also trials were done in animals to use as models as comparative and parallel investigation together with humans. That's a basic summary.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and what about the research paper, class? What about the research paper? I think I asked you to read the research paper by George Miller. Charmin, did you read the research paper? Nobody read the research paper?
Yes, I did. I did read the research paper, but you know, when you read one time, you just got to read over and over to get a full understanding of it. So I'm in the process of reading it for the second time.
Okay, yes, it will take some time because it's a very detailed study. Anyways, we can start with the next unit, that is block 2. Let me share my screen. And I hope you're like investing your time in reading the notes that we have discussed so far. So block 2 is about intelligence and creativity. In this block 2 also we have 4 units. Unit 1 is of theories of intelligence. So in this unit 1 we are going to see the G and S factor that is given by Charles Spearman, and the model of J.P. Das, J.P. Das, Kirby, Negleri. So these 3 researchers have given the past model. And unit 2 comprises of the multiple theory of intelligence of that is again given by Guilford, Gardner, and Sternberg. So this theory this multiple theory of intelligence talks about the different types of intelligence that an individual acquire. Yes, Sadhna will take your question right now. Just a second. Let me just give a brief introduction on what we are going to do in this unit. Then unit 3 is about measurement of intelligence. So unit 3, like from the name itself, we can understand measurement of intelligence is about the psychological test, the standardized psychological test on intelligence and how we can measure. So we have Wechsler's adult intelligence scale, Wechsler's intelligence scale for children, for adults. We have then in the Indian context we have the Bhatia battery, and there are various other tests in the Indian context that has been developed. For universal and for general measurement of intelligence tests, we do have some other also. We'll talk about that, like Raven's progressive metric test, and there are many other. We'll talk about them. And then unit 4, creativity and problem solving, will try to understand what is the relationship between creativity and problem solving. Is there any importance of intelligence when we talk about creativity, or is intelligence required in creativity or problem solving? So this is all what we are going to see. Have you all read this or not? Like I asked you all to read
No,
before.
Miss, because we stopped at we
Before we
were supposed to
started.
start at animal models of memory today.
Which model?
Miss, we didn't finish the unit 3.
We were supposed to start from continue on unit 3 this morning from animal models.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I think I forgot about that. But no problem. We'll continue with that only then. So I think we're going to talk about models of information processing. This is what you're saying?
Miss, we were supposed to continue point 3.5 and then go into unit 4.
Correct.
3.5.
Correct.
Okay, just a second. Okay. 3.5. Okay, animal models of memory. Right. Yeah. Okay, now I can recall. Okay, thank you for the information. Yeah, so this is what we all discussed in the previous class. And so this, did you all read this? Because they are all general description on the different kind of research that has been done related to brain areas and the brain regions. Did you read them?
Yes, Miss.
So can somebody give a quick review of this paragraph, the animal models of memory? Hmm? Why there is no motivation today in the class? So even this unit says that there are various kind of research that has been done. So like I mentioned in the previous class also, we have a very limited number of case studies with regard to brain areas, and the study that has been done. An extensive study has not been found on brain regions and brain areas with particular to human brains, right? So that is why we have different studies that has been done on animals. So we have in India we have this institute, National Institute of Mental Health. Not in India, but we do have this institute. In India, we have NIMHANS. So in 1978, Mishkin, so the researcher has tried to understand. There was this surgical lesson that was created in the medial temporal lobe and amygdala of monkeys, and to see to see if there is any memory impairment or not. So it was found that the hippocampus of the amygdala, or both the hippocampus, these areas were removed surgically, and then there was an impairment. So through this research, we can say that yes, our memory lies in hippocampus and amygdala. So, but again, it's a very old study in 1978 that was conducted. Then even the researcher Mishkin also found that in monkeys, memory are impaired. It's not just the hippocampus or amygdala, but there are some other brain areas that could also lead to memory impairment.
Excuse me,
So,
Miss.
yes.
Pardon me, please.
Hmm.
I would like to make a request.
Huh.
Some of us are not science-based, and
Okay.
even though we would have read,
Uh-huh.
some of what was read was very confusing. So I'd like to ask that you just go a little slower just for this section.
Yes, yes, yes. So that's
Thank
what
you
I'm
so
mentioning. Yeah. So these areas have
Totally agree.
huh. Hippocampus and amygdala, they're very basic. There's some you have already seen here, no? Have you seen this picture? Okay, let me admit somebody is there. Okay, so in the previous picture also you might have seen. Here is the amygdala. Can you see this amygdala and hippocampus? These areas.
Yes, Miss. Yes, Miss.
So, yeah, so the paragraph of animal models of memory, it suggests that it was a research that was conducted by Mashkin, and the person, he tried to understand memory impairment. So he removed the medial temporal lobe. Again, it is around here only, and the amygdala and hippocampus was also removed in the monkey, and it was found that after these areas were removed, there was a memory impairment in the monkey. Is that fine? I hope it is understandable.
Yes, Miss. Thank you.
So apart from this, now there are various other researchers, again Zola and colleagues, 1993, and at the University of California at San Diego. So they also wanted to understand that what happens in you know in other. So they're in a dilemma that if these areas are removed, then why? What will happen if we touch the near around areas? So like amygdala, ethonial cortex, or the neocortex of the hippocampal and the peripheral cortex. So if these areas are also touched, so in their research they also found that if these areas are also touched, then there could be some kind of memory impairment. So we don't have a particular a single place or a single brain region where uh, impairment could cause. Or so this is what the different researchers have found, that there are various brain areas that are responsible for memory impairment. It's not just one area, it's not just hippocampus or amygdala, it could be other near around or other surroundings of the brain regions near hippocampus and amygdala that could cause uh, in memory impairment. So this is what this section talks about. And yes, definitely there are some particular areas that could lead to integrate amnesia or retrograde amnesia, but exactly where it is, we don't have this evidence till now. So this is what the topic is suggesting in this paragraph. Then we have another topic, imaging the human brain and memory. So episodic memory, I am sure you are aware of this, uh, what do you say, the brain imaging techniques, PET, positron emission tomography, functional magnetic resonance imaging. I'm sure you are aware of these techniques, which are used to scan brain and brain areas.
Yes, miss.
Yes,
So through PET, we can understand in which brain region the blood is flowing. So cell blood like we can understand the cerebral blood flow through PET scans and MRI, fMRI. MRI is for the whole of the body, and fMRI is to understand the brain regions. So there are studies again that is conducted by James Hexby, Leslie, all this and their colleagues, 1996, and they were trying to understand through PET. They used PET and they were trying to understand where do we remember, how do we encode the face, how do we recognize the faces, and perceptually how we analyze or how we compare between two different faces. So all this has been studied by PET scan. So it's not some other techniques or some other brain imaging techniques that will help us to understand, but PET is one of the most important techniques or brain imaging instrument, we can say, which will help us to understand different kind of memory related or regions specifically. So these are all studies. They are not any models, but yeah, they are all research based studies which you can read them. They are conducted by different researchers and what they found. So overall, it is in this evidence we can talk about, in the first paragraph, we can talk about the different researchers that has been done to understand where we encode the information through that has been again studied by PET. Then second is perceptual memory and encoding. So what is perceptual memory and encoding? Procedural, sorry, not perceptual, procedural memory. So all these researchers in 1995, they have investigated how our brain, what is the basis, in which part of the brain region our procedural motor learning is stored. So it's in the left hemisphere. That's what the motor area. So it's not particularly a brain, but it is the motor area of our brain. I mean, it is governed by the left hemisphere. This is also what they found in their studies. So that is one thing. Then we have perceptual priming and implicit and explicit memory. So again, Daniel Sester and his colleague 1996. So they have investigated how again, they have used PET. So PET and which part of the brain areas get activated. That is the bilateral occipital cortex. So and hippocampus. So for certain kind of memory, for explicit memory or for implicit memory, are this part of the brain are responsible, and that is hippocampus and the bilateral occipital cortex. So now how they are studied? They are studied. So whenever we are indulged in a certain kind of memory process, our brain region gets activated. So that is again studied through PET. Okay, they are also known as neuroimaging techniques. Then we have another study by another topic that is known as cellular basis of learning and memory. So in which part of the brain, again, which neurons or which brain areas or which brain region is responsible. This is also, people have tried to study. So Neil Carlson, 1994. Then we have Donald Hebb, 1949. All they have tried to understand where do we store our long-term memory? Where do we learn? Where do we memorize? So there is a connection between learning and memory. If you are learning, then if we think that this memory is going to help us in future, we will store it. So that is why we have this Hebbian law, long-term potential. So this again, studies were found that in their research, they have found that it is stored in the hippocampus, and there is an intense electrical stimulation that develops in the hippocampus self, and that becomes more sensitive to stimuli. So hippocampus and hippocampal area, the hippocampal cells, again, they are responsible for long-term memory or long-term potential, which is known. This term has been given by Donald Hebb. And other uh, brain areas or the kind of receptors we have. So like N-methylene deesperate receptor, all these are also postsynaptic neurons. If you're aware of neurons, there are many billions neurons in our body, in our brain specifically. So they also help us to store information. So we already have some other researchers also will see them. We have badly also, so even they have tried to understand that memory has different components. So people are trying to understand what happens in cognitive impairment, even if there is no brain measures, why people they get affected with Alzheimer or dementia, and which part of the brain areas gets affected. So now we are able to identify what are the different domains that are responsible for memory. So it is the language. So we have this Peterson criteria that explains memory, mild cognitive impairment, and that is language, attention. Then we have executive function, we have the phonological loop, we have working memory and executive function. So all these domains of brain are responsible to store information. So if one or the other areas or domains get affected, then the person now what are there are various other factors. We'll not get into Alzheimer, but yes, research has been done to understand the long-term potential and memory performance. So badly in 1993, even they have tried to understand how do we process information. So again, there's an original study by Badley in 1993. You can read this. So this effect of enhanced response can last for weeks or even longer, suggesting to many this could be a mechanism for long-term learning and retention. So Badley has explained how can we retain information, what more could be done. Okay, somebody has joined. Okay. So this is what you will see in unit, and these are some readings. So you don't have to like get scared that you don't belong to science and you will not be able to answer. But yes, these are all research based studies. So their research cannot be, their research, we cannot simplify them. But yes, we can read them a lot, and then understand what kind of methods they have, through what method they have tried to understand or explain the brain areas responsible for memory, or in which part of the memory or in which part of the brain memory is located. So all this you will find, all the images are, it's very simplified. Don't worry, these notes are very simplified. But yes, you have to read them before and then, yes. So this is all about Unit 1. So shall we move on to Unit 4? Any questions from Unit 3?
Miss, can you explain brain fog, please? How does that occur?
Brain?
Brain fog.
Brain form. I didn't get your question. What is brain form?
Fog, F-O-G. Can you explain that? Is that an actual thing?
Okay, one second. Just let me connect my laptop to the charger. Okay, so for brain fog, I'm not aware about this term. Maybe I can, is it in the syllabus? Or if you're asking generally, I'm not aware about this term. I'll read and then we can talk about this later, tomorrow maybe. Yes, Bob, you want to give a try? What exactly it is?
No, I have a question. You are saying that these are only studies, that they're not theory. They're they're using words like suggestion and maybe and words like those in this particular paper. So what I am trying to understand is that these are not empirical. They are just suggestions, and this is what doctors use to say which part of the brain, if it's the amygdala or the hypothalamus or so on. Is that what we are saying? I am trying to get an understanding of where we are with all of these theories, well, studies.
Okay, So I'm not saying that they are not, it's not about theories, it's about research paper. So what has been mentioned in the notes, they are your notes. I mean, there are research papers that has been cited in these studies. So they are not general like normal research. They are hard work of certain researchers who have tried to understand, to conduct surgical operation on monkey is not, it's not an easy task, right? So they would conduct researches. There are various universities those who are conducting, and they're trying to understand researches, and why definitely they have an implications in general life also. Why not? So based on this research, only doctors are also going to study. I mean, they're going to implement them in their cases. Why not? Because we do have limitation in understanding human brain at the research, because no one is going to give. I mean, we cannot give our brain for research, right? So until unless any lessons happen, it's not that we're going to get indulged in an accident and then doctors will study our brain. But so whenever cases come to doctors, they will study based on these studies only, based on the research paper that has been mentioned.
It is
Okay.
because most of the research that has been done is being done post-mortem, is that it, or on monkeys, because it has implications to humans if we cannot study on persons who are alive. That's a given. So most of the studies have been done in post-mortem or someone who
Yes.
has exhibited a brain injury.
Yes. So it is, it is about the study that has been reported. So I mean, doctors are definitely going to study, researchers are going to study them. Based on that only, we have our literature review, and then we're going to focus on this when we have different kind of cases. So we have to study them, and that is why I think you will understand slowly by slowly what is the importance of research paper. Because I think you're going to build uh, uh, your synopsis also in second year, and then you would like to do some kind of research. So for that purpose, you are going to study the previous research paper. So in this case also, when it comes to doctors or physicians or neurosurgeons, they also need to study the previous studies, right? So this was all about unit 3, and then we can move on to unit 4, that is models of information processing. Okay, so any readings in this? I hope you found easy these readings.
You're not sharing your screen.
Bob, you're not like audible properly. Is your internet not? I mean,
I'm not sure. Is this better?
now better. Yes. Earlier, I was not able to get you properly. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I was asking if you were sharing your screen.
No, I'm not sharing my screen, but I'll share just a second. Tired after a long week days, huh? Everyone. Nobody is in a
Yes,
mood
miss.
to
Yes,
respond.
miss.
I know it is difficult, but anyways, we'll sail it together. Okay, so this is unit 4, and models of information processing. So now we have models, we have different theories where people have suggested, researchers have suggested that how we process information. And if you remember, we already have talked about that our brain is the hardware and our mind is the software. And people have been trying to study cognitive psychology since 1940, and then 1950 people have tried to study all this. And all these are some theoretical concept on what information processing is. We have already done that before also. So we'll see a model that was given by Weg and Norman. So they have tried to explain the model of primary and secondary memory in the year 1965, and they have conceptualized the term primary memory as a short-term storage system, and secondary memory as a long-term storage system. Okay. And we do have a model also that was a graphical presentation of this model. So here is the stimulus. So any kind. So stimulus to store information, uh, from short-term to long-term memory, or from primary memory to secondary memory, we need a stimulus, right? So right now, if you are viewing this PDF, it is a stimulus for you, and your sensory memory is working here. And then if you rehearse, if you feel that yes, I need to store this information, or I need to memorize, or let's take the example of this PDF only. If you feel that this is important for you, you will rehearse it maybe after the class, or you're going to repeat your notes, and then you'll send it to secondary memory, a very simple one. Or else, if you feel that it is not important for you, you'll forget it, and then you'll send it to, you're not going to send anyway, you'll just forget it. So this is what the memory was that was given by Wake and Norman. And they also, so they tried, now how they were able to explain this. So they were able to explain this, and then they traced the fate of items in 15, I mean in PM, by using list of 16 digits. So that were read to subjects at the rate of 1 digit per second, or 4 digits per second. So the purpose of presenting digits every second or quarter second was to determine whether forgetting was a function of decay or interference in primary memory. So they wanted to understand, do we forget because of the interference, or is it because of we don't want to remember? So they were trying to understand. Then later on, they continue with the discussion, and I mean with the research. So if forgetting was a function of decay, then less recall could be expected with the slower rate, 1 digit per second. If forgetting was a function of interference, so if it was a function of decay, they could recall only 1 digit. But if it was function of interference, if it's because of the interference, then they would function at 4 digit per second. So the same amount of information is presented at both presentation rates, by which Wegener Norman's logic allows the same time for decay to occur. And then later on, again in 1966, again they found that subjects were allowed extra experimental information to enter their primary memory. But again it was, in their research, again another research was done again by Norman, and then it was found that presentation rate varied from 1 to 10 seconds. So earlier they found that because of function decay, they could recall only 1 digit per second, but later on, after again it was not because of the function decay, but it was because of the this interference. So if there is any interference, if I ask you to read this topic, and at the same time I'll ask you to read some other topic also, maybe you'll not remember both. So that is what they found that and finally they made this conclusion that primary memory holds verbal information, and it's available for verbatim recall. While, so if you want to recall some information for a longer period of time, you have to also understand their meaning, and interference should be avoided, otherwise that could lead to VU, or interference seems to be greater than function factor decay. So decay, like if you don't use the information, then that would lead to trace decay, but interference is also very it's a big hindrance in understanding or in recalling information after a longer period of time. So that is what they found. The model was very simple, but they were also trying to understand that why we forget, what is the reason. Is it the function decay? Again, I'm explaining, is it the function decay, or is it the interference? So in their study, they found that it was the interference, the function of interference, that is responsible for forgetting. Are you getting me, class?
Yes. I am thinking that maybe what I'm trying to understand, they're saying is
Bob, you are not audible. Can you please?
Could you hear me?
It is audible. Now you're audible.
You hearing me now?
Yes, yes.
All
You're
right.
already audible, but there's some noise is disturbing.
I'm not certain where the noise is coming.
Mm-hmm.
But can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, yes. Please speak.
Okay, great. So what I'm trying to understand is interference. If I want to simplify for myself, it means that if you are speaking
Can
loud,
somebody understand Bob? Is she audible to others?
Not clear.
Not clear.
Not clear, right?
Not clear, Miss. You're getting a feedback.
I guess we're hearing, but it's
Distorted. Are you using two
I think what
devices,
she was
Miss
trying.
Bob?
Yes, Lisa.
No, I was asking Miss Bob if she's using two devices, because if she is, that's what's going to happen. You're going to get that feedback.
Okay. Okay. Lisa, I didn't get you. Are you asking a question?
No, Miss, I was just asking Miss Bob a question. Sorry
Oh.
about that.
Okay, okay.
I think Ms. Bob was trying to ask something based on interference, as in terms of if you're speaking right now and something interrupts, like for example, we interrupt with questions and so forth, if that is going to affect whatever it is that you're saying to us, our memory, our remembering what it is that you're teaching due to the interference of questions being asked.
Yes, yes, yes. So right now, if I'm explaining a particular topic and we have, if you bombard with question, then maybe I'll not able to concentrate and not recall what I'm trying to say. Yes, interference. This is what the theory says. And there's some question. Yes, Jennifer will talk about Spearman's factor. Oh, that was, I thought we had to start with that, but we have to finish this. We'll start that. Okay, so Bob, maybe you can type your question and we'll move on to the next theory. So Atkinson and Shiffrin model, didn't I explain in the previous class? I recall talking about this. Anyways, again, it's a very simple model. So to send any information in this short-term memory, you need a stimulus. External information or external stimulus is required, and it is processed by the sensory memory, which is after a little initiation or processing. Either you send it to long-term memory, or either you forget, right? So in order to send to long-term memory, you have to repeat, you have to rehearse, and you have to elaborate also. We have talked about elaboration rehearsal and maintenance rehearsal. Then only you'll be able to send it to long-term memory. If not, if you feel that this information is not important for me, then you'll forget it. So this is what the model says. And from short-term memory only, you give a response. If you feel that, okay, this is maybe if you repeat and then you feel, okay, if I need to remember this information, you'll remember it and have certain kind of response, and then send it to long-term memory with certain elaborative rehearsal and maintenance rehearsal. Then only you can do the rehearsal, retrieval. Otherwise it would be difficult, and then you have to repeat, otherwise you'll forget, repeat. And it's not that from short-term memory it's very easy to send information to long-term memory, but you will take some time. Okay, so this was the Atkinson and Shiffrin model, and we have already talked about that sensory memory and what is the storage capacity, 20 to 30 seconds as for STM. And we have talked about the 5+2 magic numbers, the research done by George Miller. Then now Tulving. So Tulving, they have identified, the researcher, they have so they have identified that we have two types of long-term memory. One is the episodic memory and the other one is semantic memory. So episodic memory is are those which give a subject the sense of remembering the actual situation or event. So it is episodic memory. So example, if you have what example could we give? So it is your personal experience. For example, maybe you qualified an exam, and how on the day of your result, what you were doing, and when somebody announced your result, then what was the reaction. So that is your episodic memory, or it is related to a particular information, so that is episodic memory. Semantic would be where we are able to recall a certain information with the help of understanding it. So it deals with general information. So like ABCD, right now you are seeing a PDF, it has been written in English. You don't need to read like A, B, S, E, M, A, N, T. You know that what is the meaning of this sentence, right? Because you're using your semantic memory to understand the alphabets. So this is known as semantic memory. Then we have declarative memory, procedural memory, again that was given by Hood 2000. And declarative memory is something which we could verbalize it. For any kind of memory, you can verbalize it. While, for example, if you want to share some memories and you're able to Or maybe if I ask you, um, explain me the way how you drive. So if you're able to explain that into a certain information, that means you're able to declare. For procedural, it is on how to do it, how to do certain kind of instruction or things. So that is your procedural memory. And so procedural memory can be thought of as how to knowledge. Again, it was given by Hugh 2000. So it is the type of long-term memory sometimes associated with information that has reached a state of automaticity. So again, let me take the example of driving a vehicle. So if I ask you, so you are a new learner and I ask you, how did you drive? So you would mention that this is how you drive it. But when you are actually doing it, when there is an automaticity in your behavior on driving, so that is your procedural memory. You just do it because of the automaticity, because of driving it for a longer period of time, the vehicle. Then we have the okay, we already talked about the memory, the how memory is stored. So it is again the storage system, sensory, working sensory, and then long-term memory or short-term memory, and then long-term memory. So this is what you will see. And level of recall. Somebody has joined, I guess. So here are some studies, again by research studies has been mentioned on level of recall, how we recall information. So level of recall depends on our level of processing also. So this model was given by Craig and Logart's 1972 level of processing model. It is known as level of processing model. If we have an image, then maybe I can, yeah. Okay, no, this one. Okay, anyways, these researchers, I mean, Craig and Lockhart, they believe that we process information at two levels. We can recall or we can send information to long-term memory only when we send information, when we do a process at two levels. So one is the deep level, so shallow level, sorry, shallow level. If you process information or if you analyze information at the shallow level, or if you don't understand it properly, then you will not be able to send it to long-term memory. But if you understand the information, understand the data or whatever, so if your notes also, if you just give a reading, then you are doing a shallow level of processing. But if you want to send it to long-term memory and want to recall it for a longer period of time, or maybe after some months for your exam, then you're going to do it a deeper level of processing. So this two type of memory has been explained in this model. Okay, a very general one. And again, all this has been tested, and people have given their suggestion and contribution on how we process information. So all these are some studies, but generally the model says this only, the level of processing. If we process at the deeper level, then we can send it to long-term memory. If we process at shallow level, then we're not going to recall it for longer period of time, or we will not be able to send it to long-term memory also. Then self-reference effect. So again, this is particularly not a model, but some another study. So Kirky, 1977, so the researcher, they studied that self-reference model is a very important model. I mean, it's a powerful model through which we can recall memory for a longer period of time. So it included structural, phonetic, semantic, and self-reference tasks. So in this model, if you understand information in a structural manner, or if you understand information through phonetics also, or you understood the meaning of that information, through languages also, if you could recall, if you, for example, I think some of you, if you want to recall some information for or store information for a longer period of time, you memorize it with some music or words, right? So that is the phoneme and semantic. You want to understand the meaning, and then self-reference. If it is related to you, then you remember it for a longer period of time, or it will be easy for you to send it to long-term memory. So that's what KK also have found in the study. So if it's related to some other things, then maybe you don't recall, right? So these are evidence that has been provided on memory. Then we have another model of memory that is given by Remelhert and Macklin, and it is also known as the parallel distributed model. So it says that we now why these people have now why what was the need that David Remelhert and James Macklin had to formalize this theory. The need was that other researchers, they believe that we process information at three level: the sensory or the working, and then short-term memory, and then long-term memory. But PDP model says that no, we process information at both. I mean, simultaneously we process information. It's not that first we will send it to long-term memory, or sorry, for short-term memory and then send it to long-term memory. It's not that. But this model, it believe that our information, our new every neurons of our brain are responsible, and we process information, and simultaneously, parallelly we process information, and parallelly we send it to long term also. But again, yes, there was disagreement to this theory, that what happens if we send it to long term memory, then why we're not able to recall. Yes, there was certain disagreement to this theory, but this is what they believed according to their research. So you'll find this in this model. Yes, so I think I asked you all to read this now, this unit 3 and 4. Have you all read?
Yes, miss.
Yes. So any questions now?
Yes, Miss. Good morning. I have a question relating to me about all of these theorists. Which one do I send to my long-term memory in order to recall in the future if I'm counseling a patient or someone?
If you are?
If I'm to counsel someone about memory or something. Because all of them seems to be contradicting each other. One would say, okay, this is how we do this. The other one would say this. So I am confused as to which one is actually correct.
No, no theory is incorrect or correct. Is that it's just that it is their contribution. They have done hard work, right? They have researched upon it, and they have come up with this conclusion. But according to me, for me personally, it is the elaborative and the maintenance rehearsal. So that's what I believe. And just a second, somebody is there at the door. Okay, class. Yeah. Yes. So I was saying that no theory is correct or incorrect. It's just that everybody has their own contribution in their research. But like I was mentioning, for me, I believe elaborative rehearsal is important to send information so that you could recall it for a longer period of time. Elaborative rehearsal and maintenance rehearsal. You have to repeat your notes, right? Because I think that's what I'm feeling. You guys have not read, maybe, or maybe are tired. So no interactive class is going on. Okay. Yes, Denisa, was I able to answer your question?
Yes, miss.
So
And
yeah, there's
to me personally, I would prefer to you, it may seem as though I'm lagging behind, but I prefer to read out the entire block, highlight the notes, and then go back to it in the future. When, for example, when we have exams, I don't have to go through the entire thing, but I have the highlighted parts.
yes, yes. So you could do that, and so writing an exam, and they are very difficult tasks. Still, I think you feel now because maybe you are studying after some time, but it's okay. Anyways, we can understand. We can understand the information at the deeper level. We can understand. If we study at the shallow level, we're not going to understand the information. But if deep level of processing is done to send certain kind of information to the long-term memory, then we need to read them from time to time. Okay, so let's move on to theories of intelligence. So any theories of intelligence which you are aware of?
Good morning, Miss.
Yes, Jacob.
I was wanted to make a contribution before
Yes,
we move on to
please.
theories of
Yes,
intelligence is in relation to types of memories and how we are able to relate to the information. And probably want to suggest that given our different learning styles, like in my case, I'm very visual, and so I like to see things. So YouTube works well for me in terms of reviewing um, to get things in my long-term memory, to associate them and shift from my current memory to long-term. I'm very visual, so that approach works well for me. So I suppose given the spectrum of learners we have on this class, just probably a suggestion maybe, if going forward we can be assigned various units to read ahead and then make probably 2-minute presentations among ourselves, so rather than have you dictate throughout the entire session, our memories can probably be better activated. That's just a suggestion.
Yes, Jacob, I think I agree with you.
Yeah,
Yes.
that'll help with the interaction. Thirdly, as it relates to the intelligence theories, I did interact with Gardner's theory extensively, and naturalistic intelligence and all the other ones that he dictated in 1994. I've been done a lot of work with it. So yes, I'm familiar with that. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jacob. That's a wonderful suggestion. Yes, so this practice I practice over here also at our study center. So they are like everybody, not everybody, but many of them, they are working. So they're already in a working setup in a workplace. So what they do to understand the theories or to apply those theories at their workplace. So they study they will come and give a presentation, in the class, and that it's really helping them. So there are many HR heads and people, professionals working in HR department and civil servants, they're working. So that is how it's a good suggestion. Thank you. So yes, we could do this. So you want to go with maybe we can take one each, the units. So today I'll explain the theories, but I hope maybe you can also take some theories and explain it from tomorrow itself, and we can have a presentation and discussion in the class. Yes. So should I divide the topic right now, or you want to divide it by yourself?
No, I think you should go ahead and give us that direction, Miss.
Okay, I can do that. Why not? I'll do that. So just a second. So you want to start with the previous block, or should we continue from now?
Going forward.
Okay, we can go forward. Just a second. Okay, we'll start with block 2 then. Intelligence and creativity.
You want us to start now, as in now, right now?
No, from tomorrow we can start, but I just want to give you the topics. That's what you mentioned,
Yeah,
right? That
okay.
we can,
Yeah.
okay. So we have in block 2. So so these are the 4 blocks that we have in MPC-001. So we are done with information processing already, right? All this we are done, right? So in block 2 we have this topic, intelligence and creativity. So I think, anyways, I'm going to explain the theories in general. I already have my notes. I mean, I've taken it out, and we can have a discussion on this. So how do you want to go? Like, you want to take the theories by yourself? Here are the topics. One topic each, or how?
Yes, I think we could take a topic each.
Yeah. So here it is. So I'm just going to, okay, yeah, class, what we can do is I'll explain the theories. What you can do is you can understand the critical appraisal of those particular theories. Is that fine? Critical evaluation.
Again, miss, please say again, you're going to explain the theories, and
yeah,
we will.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So I'll explain the theories, but you will take you'll explain the critical evaluation in the next class. Can we do that? So it would be a both-way interaction.
Yes, miss, we can do that.
Yeah, critical evaluation, we can talk about implication, we can talk about application of that particular theory in our day-to-day lives. I think that's a great idea. Okay, so I would like to assign some students to whom I'm able to recall the names. So Denisa, I would like you to explain the nature of intelligence tomorrow. And Jacob, you can talk about the critical evaluation of Spearman's two-factor theory that was given by Thorndike. And one of you can take Thompson's. And who would like to take Thompson's? Thompson's critical evaluation to two-factor theory. Thompson and Thurston's, who would like to take?
I can take that now.
June, would you like to take? But
Miss, someone just offered. I'm not sure who was speaking just now.
Amanda offered. Amanda Tiwari.
Okay, Amanda. Okay, fine. Just like 2-3. You don't have to make PPTs. Just a discussion, a brief discussion of 2 or 3 minutes. You can take 2 to 3 minutes, and then just a brief discussion can be done. You don't have to make PPTs and present it. And no, just a discussion. Ronetta, you want to take Thurston's critical appraisal?
You're talking to me as in Jeanette, Miss Chase?
Yes.
Could you go back that one for me, please, Miss?
Yeah, Thurston's 1.3.1.3. This one. Or Jacob, can you yourself divide the students, whoever wants to take whichever topic they want?
Yeah, maybe tomorrow they will read ahead and decide what they probably want to do for the next class. But I think you should give us direction for tomorrow, because we're gonna have to go through the notes and make the decisions today. And going forward, different others might want to say, look, I want to discuss this and so forth. But for tomorrow, definitely, I would suggest you give us directions.
Okay. Yeah, for tomorrow, so Denisa, you can look after the nature of intelligence. Jacob, you can go with the critical evaluation of Spearman's two-factor theory. And Amanda has already volunteered. So 3 people we have for now, and then I'll see tomorrow. So okay, let's come to the theory. So in theories of intelligence, we have Spearman's two-factor theory. It's one of the oldest theory of intelligence, and it was formulated and proposed in the year 1904. And I just have shared this screen. Just look at this picture. So this theory, in a very simple term, I can tell you that this theory, it says that we have a general kind of intelligence. Everybody has this general kind of intelligence, general intelligence. It is known as general intelligence. And we have some kind of specific intelligence. So they are known as mechanical, verbal, spatial, or numerical. So that is what Charles Spearman believed that, and this is what his theory was founded upon. So the verbal intelligence is one of the specific intelligence, mechanical, spatial, and numerical. So in verbal, so an individual who comprises of verbal intelligence can also have some kind of intelligence related to mechanical, or some kind of intelligence related to spatial, and then some part of numerical intelligence could also be present in the person who has a larger portion of verbal intelligence. Are you getting me, class? The same applies for mechanical, the same applies for spatial, and the same applies for numerical also. Just a second. Okay, so did you see? Did you understand this? All these theories of intelligence, mechanical, general? Class, am I audible?
Yes,
Miss, I can't say I understand because I
Okay,
haven't really
try.
grappled with it.
Yeah.
I haven't grappled with it, but what comes to my mind is Howard Gardner's theory of intelligence. He talked about intelligences, where he listed 8, and I'm looking at this and wondering, how it compares. But I'm sure when I read, I will understand.
Okay, no problem. I'll try to explain once. Yeah. So Charles Spearman, he proposed this theory in the year 1994, and then he called this theory of intelligence as two-factor theory. So according to him, we have 2 kind of intelligence. One is the general ability, and the other one is the specific ability. Now, this general ability, even if you're not who is joining now? Okay, so like I mentioned, the general ability is known as G factor, specific ability is S factor. So Charles Spearman, he believed that there are 4 kind of intelligence that is acquired by us. The first one, 4 kind of specific abilities or specific intelligence. The first one is special, mechanical, verbal, and numerical. So these are some 4 kind of specific abilities that are acquired by individuals, or it is acquired by us in the form of intelligence. So, but can you see this Venn diagram? He also believed that there is anyone who is possessing mechanical will also have some kind of verbal intelligence. And anyone who is possessing verbal intelligence would also have both mechanical, special, and numerical. But the dominant part is more of verbal intelligence. Is it understandable or not?
Could you just go over it a little so I can get a clear understanding of it?
Yeah. So I'm mentioning that general or G factor, it is known as G factor also. So general intelligence, even if you're not educated also, you'll have this. So there are certain individuals who are not educated, but still they have information about money, right? The note, is it 5 rupee or 10 rupee or dollar, whatever it is. Even if you're not educated, you have this general ability. So then the second kind of intelligence that has been mentioned in this theory is the specific intelligence or specific ability. Let's term it as specific ability, or so, not intelligence, though it comes under the theory, but they're talking about the specific ability. So there are four kind of specific abilities that has been explained by Charles Spearman, and these are the names. Can you see this? Mechanical, verbal, spatial, numerical.
Yes.
Yes, miss.
Yeah. So he also believed that. He also made this argument that if somebody who is very good at verbal intelligence doesn't mean that he's not good at other kind of intelligence. He or she will have some component of some or some importance of mechanical, or intelligence of mechanical, spatial, or numerical. And the same is followed for all the four kind of specific abilities. Okay.
Question, Miss.
Yes.
Can you go back to that screen, please? So
Can
verbal
I-
intelligence, yes, right there. So verbal intelligence has to do with persons who are good with words, with public speaking and so forth. Mechanical has to do with perhaps musicians and stuff like that.
No, not
I'm trying
musician.
I'm trying to understand the different specific
Careers,
intelligence.
yes. Mechanical would be mechanical engineers, or somebody who are good with mechanics, mechanism. Engineers, mechanical, I can think about right now, I can think about mechanical engineers, those who are good with this. Verbal would be like linguistic, or poets, or writers, poets. All this would come under verbal. Special will be those who are those who have to do with special, like those. I mean, where do we apply our special intelligence? Like, I'm very bad with direction. Even if you explain me, I'll not be able to understand direction very quickly. So some people are very good with direction. So sailors, maybe sailors, that from where the wind is coming and where they have to sail through, they have special intelligence. Numerical, again, with mathematicians, scientists, or statisticians. All this would come under. So these are the different type of intelligence that people possess. Don't you think you have a particular kind of intelligence? It's very simple.
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Yes, we do.
So, miss, where would we put those who are good with interpersonal skills? Some folk are so good at bringing people together. Some people go into a room and light up a room. Some people you don't have to teach to feel good about themselves. They got intrapersonal skills.
Yes, we are coming to that also. Yes, June.
Okay.
So that was given again by Howard Gardner, theory of multiple intelligence. We'll come to that. So now this is what I was saying. This is a theory. Now you have to think. So maybe one of you can think, or everybody can think, what is the critical appraisal of this theory? Why do you think that everybody just acquire? For me, I don't think so. I acquire mechanical, special, numerical, or verbal intelligence. Dominantly, it's not in me, but yes, I do have some very little abilities for all this. So the first critical is that it's not important that we just have only this kind of theories of specific abilities, but there could be many more. We'll think about them. So here it is. Yes, you were talking about this, as you can see. So it was given by Howard Gardner, and he believed that those people who are very good in music, so they have the musical intelligence. Those people who are very good with body, they are body smart, and it is known as kinesthetic intelligence. Then those people who are very good with people, with relationships, and they have this interpersonal relationship. Linguistic, they are very good with language and words, and poets, poems. They are known as word smart. Logic smart would be mathematical intelligence, again similar to the previous one. Then nature smart, they are environmentalists, botanists, zoologists. They are very much interested into nature, saving fighting for global warming and all the stuff. Then intrapersonal, very good with themselves, they're self-smart. Visual will be picture smart, so they understand pictures very well, they're interested in into pictures. So this is again another theory of intelligence that was given by Howard Gardner. Are you getting me?
Yes.
Yes, miss.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Miss Question, the intelligence that you're talking about is something that is embedded into you, something that comes naturally, that nobody has to teach you, something that you know, that is
comes
probably in your genes, that is in
Yes.
your genes, you say?
Yes, it comes naturally. That what these researchers also believed. So these researchers Spearman, Howard Gardner, Robert Sternberg. Then we have who else? Thurston. So all these people, does then this model by J.P. Das, Jack Milley, and K. They believe that everybody has their own their unique abilities or specific intelligence. So that's what they believed. Coming back to next theory, that is the PASS model. So the PASS model is this first of all, it's not basically the attention and the arousal. This concept it is the first one, the first functional unit of activity that were involved. But just to make a model or just to name it, to give the abbreviation, we have named as PASS model. So for example, if I okay. First of all, you have to understand this theory also has some roots in the biological perspective also. So researchers were trying to understand that what happens when somebody is affected with ADD, what kind of impairment is there, which part of the brain area is responsible for arousal and attention. So for arousal and attention, it is the brain area, the brainstem, and the thalamus, it is responsible for the arousal function is done by that. Now, people were also trying to understand what happens in ADD. So, attention deficit, the people are not able to pay attention. They're not able to give attention, right? So, our thalamus have an impairment in this brain area. That's what the study was also found. And let me give you an example. If I say that tomorrow you have an exam, maybe tomorrow you have to give a presentation, what your brain has done, you were aroused and you paid attention to what the topic you will be choosing, right? Hannah? Yes, class? Did this happen?
Yes, miss.
Yes. So this was done at the attention, the first stage. We do process information at this level. So basically, this is not a I don't believe that this model should come into a theory of intelligence, but this is how our brain functions. Then then the researchers, they also believe that when we want to process information or when we hear to certain kind of information, it's not that you first pay attention and then simultaneously you process the information, but simultaneously and successively you process the information and then send it to your brain. So this involves the ability to integrate or separate stimuli information. So whatever information is provided in front of you, your occipital and parietal lobes, they help you to think, and then you send it to long-term memory. So simultaneous processing you're doing successfully. So for example, another example of successively is like that when we were kids, it's not that we were just reading alphabets. We were reading digits, we were reading alphabets, multiplication tables, isn't it? Or you were just reading alphabets or just one language? So again, these researchers also believe that we process information successively. It's not that we have to pay attention one at a time, but we have the ability to process different information at the same time. Or definitely it's not that alphabets and digits are going to be taught us together, but yes, we can pay attention to different information at different times. So that is known as the successive processing. And then planning. So whenever we have planning, as the name itself suggests, all this is done by the frontal lobe, and we believe that we can process information. So to solve any problem, we do plannings, or to make any decision, or to carry any tasks, we have to make planning. So all this is done by the frontal lobes. So basically they have tried to explain that our frontal lobe is involved in planning our what do we say, attention. So for attention, our occipital lobe is involved. Our occipital brain part of the area is responsible. Then parietal for simultaneously processing simultaneously. So you're drinking and you're watching television. You're drinking water, or maybe you're eating food and then watching television. Which processing are you using? Is it attention or simultaneous processing?
Simultaneous processing.
Yes, right. And if you are right now you are studying all, I mean, during the exams you have to give exams of all the 7 papers, MPC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but still you are going to read them, or you're reading many other notes. Maybe you're reading these notes and at the same time you are reading a novel right now. So which processing are you using?
Simultaneous.
Successive, simultaneous, but at the same time successive. You will, it's not that whatever you have read in this class you'll forget when you read the novel. You're going to still remember it, the story or something, right? Yes, I think you have not read. Tell me honestly, did you all read beforehand?
No, I haven't.
Miss,
This
we
week,
didn't
right?
do
I read
some,
the,
Miss.
I read
A
the
lot of reading.
previous block.
Miss, I didn't get to read. I had a whole lot of records to deal with as a teacher this week, so didn't have any time to read anything. That's me being honest.
Yes, Abigail, sorry, what did you say?
I'm telling you honestly that I didn't get to read. I was dealing with last week of school stuff, a whole lot of records, less sleep and so forth, so I didn't get the time to read anything.
Okay. Okay, class. So if
Miss,
this is the case, then how are we going to proceed further? Yes, Jacob.
so am I understanding that successive memory is really sequential?
Successive, no, successive processing, you would say, not memory. Yes, it is sequential. It is sequential. Yes. Yes, it is sequential. Because you can process information, different information simultaneous, like, okay, so to understand or to make a sentence, you have to understand the alphabets also, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, or maybe to understand the timetable of 14, don't you need to acquire the skills beforehand to understand the timetables of 2, 3, 4, 5, the other digits?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's the case. Because I was actually thinking whether or not the multitasking is simultaneous, and my understanding of what you refer to in terms of the successive processing is that the information that you assimilate from, say, from this class, you won't forget it, because even though you want to do another task similar to this or probably different, this one will be stored in your memory at some point. So when you come back to this task, in that sequence, you'll be able to remember it. But simultaneous, my understanding is that while I'm listening to you, I'm also writing notes. I'm also giving signals to my family members. I may be texting a message, and important stuff is happening right now that I need to address, and I'm still paying attention to the class, and I'm assimilating from these various different activities at the same time. That's my understanding.
Yes, so that is successive processing you are doing, Jacob. Yes. So class, I'm worried how should we continue?
I suppose our reading will have to be sequential and successive at the same time in terms of our daily task. Most of us are starting up reading now here going forward. Somebody suggested earlier that they like to read and complete. My thing is, personally, I'm going to take it from here, move forward, and then in spare time, backfill what I couldn't do before. But going forward, that's why I made a suggestion of us having the interactive selection of presentations. However small it is, I believe it will stimulate and not only our interest in being part of the class, but in remembering the stuff, the concept, the core concepts, because you're actually summarizing the core contents or concept for us, and hence that's critical. I usually, when I'm driving, my driving usually lasts probably 4 or 5 to an hour, sometimes 2, 3, we get stuck in traffic. So I use that time to review within a day what we would have covered in this day. So for example, for this class today, sometime Monday when I'm doing my driving, I'm going to go over everything. I'm going to hear this out. By the end of the day, I'll review the entire class. But in terms of my reading, that has to be done at my scheduled convenience. So that's how I remember the information.
Yes. So this is all about unit. I mean, I don't think so I should proceed further because everybody is sad, I think. Everybody is sad and depressed.
But Miss, it was really interesting as you were explaining. I was grasping certain things and so forth. So I think you should go on. Don't mind us.
Miss, it will only get better. Most of us are in groups, smaller groups, and the groups recently started up. And we're working things out. It's gonna get better. We're going to get into this, but it's a struggle to get going. Like last night, I put Read Aloud on, and when I caught myself, it was midnight, and I realized I just wake up. So, well, it's gonna get better, Miss. It gotta get better.
But last week, everybody was so excited and they were cheerful faces. But now,
Yes,
Just to say, all right, go ahead, Abigail. I'll come when you finish.
People are very tired from the last week and stuff. So after this week here, we'll be more relaxed and ready to go with you. So you just continue. I'm taking notes, and I'm sure a lot of other persons are taking notes. It's just that we're silent.
Okay.
Miss, I think one of the things I think is that most of us accustomed to working in group. So we're now putting the group together so as to do our reading, and then when we reach as a group, then we would go over. So I think by this new week, we'll be able to get ourselves in order.
Okay, but it was really, I was wondering why you were not able to understand a very simple theory, specific intelligence and general intelligence. So it was a very simple thing that Charles Spearman, he says that everybody have a general intelligence. At the same time, we have certain kind of specific intelligence, and they're just 4: verbal, numerical, mechanical, and special. That's it. But there was no response, so I thought maybe I'm not able to explain or something. But anyways,
Miss, we're internalizing, and the content is something we're exposed to, especially the intelligence. It's something that we are aware of, but it's just that we are internalizing, and maybe you felt a bit despondent and disappointed that we're not responding. But we are learning, we are internalizing, and as my colleagues have said, that we are getting ourselves together. So it will get better.
Okay, chalo, that's really good to know. Okay, so but anyways, I think we should stop. Anyways, if you run away, then run away from the previous information, then you'll not be able to understand. So what we can do is we can stop here, and you can read Unit 4, Information Processing, the models of memory. First of all, try to read all the models of memory. Try to get some critical evaluation of the models. And you can get some, read some critical evaluation of the two-factor theory, then past model also. And then I'll give a try to explain tomorrow once again. Maybe I can use my PPT. Yeah, I'll do that. I can do that. Bob, I'm not stopping, Bob, but I think we should. I think we should stop. You read, take some time, read this, and then come tomorrow. We can discuss.
I'm actually happy we've had this honest evaluation of where we are in relation to the assimilation. And while we want to give the impression that we are going to get it, I think we have to be realistic that there are a number of us who are still struggling. I was looking at the chat, and some people are saying up to this moment they're sailing. So this is a wide, diverse group. 5 of us, 10 of us, 15 of us really can't represent what's actually happening. So Liz, I appreciate your sensitivity to that fact that we are not a representative voice of this entire class. And hence we should allow some sensitivity for persons who honestly are sailing, so that they would not be forced to withdraw from the course and hence lose out on what I consider to be an excellent opportunity to gain this kind of information. So while my other colleagues are giving samples of their opinions, which I think they're entitled to, like I am, the majority of us who are speaking cannot honestly represent 135 people. So unless time speaks to the issue, I would thank you for allowing persons to really grapple with what's actually happening, and then move forward. That's my 2 bits.
Right, Jack. So we should not run. Let's wait for others also to process the information. So what we can do is you can start reading Unit 2 beforehand. Take some time today. Relax. Everybody looks tired. Let me not use the word sad and depressed, but yes, everybody is tired. I guess after a long week. Everybody must be.
Could I
say something?
Yes, please.
What I think what is it too is because most of us here are teachers, we are actually reading, but because of the science involved, it is new to us, and the terms, the different concepts and terms. While you're going through this reading, you have to be going to visit, to check for information, to understand what they're trying to tell you. You got to understand the meaning of different terms. You got to look up the science behind it, the information. Or like when we were looking through the part with the brain, if you don't learn the parts of the brain or understand which part it is pointing to, you won't understand the notes, what it is saying to you. So we now have to go backpedal, look into the parts of the brain and get an understanding. Okay, this is the part they're talking about. This is the part that they're talking about, and then relate the information. So that is why we're behind. So we're behind with the reading. And you're ahead with the class. We're actually reading, but just that we didn't get to read beforehand the notes that you're going to. We're still behind trying to come through, but we will get there, Miss, eventually. Thank you very much
anyways. I was trying to explain in a very simple term also. I'm not trying to explain in hard terms, very, very simple terms, so that when you read, you will get to know what I'm trying to say, right? Okay, anyways, I think we can wind up.
We appreciate that. Thank you, Miss. We appreciate that.
Yes. Okay, so we can do that, I guess. I'm just worried about others also, those who are not speaking up. So I think we should understand.
Janet here, I have
good evening,
a question.
madam. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, madam. Good evening, dear students. Good morning there at Guyana.
Good morning.
Good evening, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Namaste.
Good morning.
Everything is going on fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good, very wonderful. Any particular feedback about your classes, about psychology program? Any particular feedback if you want to share anything with me also?
Arlene, kindly mute yourself because the feedback is getting in the way of sirs or anyone else speaking.
Greetings, sir.
Yes, yes, please. Yeah.
Good day, everyone. So I have a question. If you, by chance, you were attending all the previous classes but didn't get a chance to note your attendance because of some software issue, would that still...
Actually, at your LMS portal, there is no way to mark your attendance back for the back sessions of the last week. There is no provision. At LMS portal, you can mark your presence only during the session, neither before nor later. But you please don't worry about attendance. If you missed any particular session, please don't worry about your presence or your attendance. Please don't worry about your attendance. Just kindly try to watch the video which we have uploaded on the LMS portal of the last week's session. Session 1 and Session 2, last Saturday's session and last Sunday's session, they have been uploaded on the LMS portal. You please don't worry about your attendance. Please try to please try to attend those, you please try to watch those both last week's programs or through your LMS portal. If you miss any particular session, please don't worry about the attendance. Just try to focus on learning the new things of your MA Psychology program. So please don't worry about your marking your attendance. But there is no provision on this LMS portal in which you can mark your attendance either in advance or later on. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. You're perfectly clear.
Yeah. Okay. Please don't worry about your attendance. But it should not give an impression that attendance does not mean anything. Your attendance is required. Please do not conclude in such a way that your presence or your attendance has no meaning. Your presence is highly required. Please do attend all the sessions. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes. Any other feedback if you want to share anything with me? I am thinking that I will design a Google form for you, and I will share the link of that Google form with you all, so that you may be able to share your experiences, your opinions, and your feedback with us through that Google form also. I will just design a Google form for you all, and I will share the link of that Google form with you, so that you may be able to share your experiences with us through that Google form. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll be nice.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much. So if you want to share anything with me right now, you are most welcome. I just hijacked the session the madam was taking. Madam, I'm sorry for hijacking your session.
No problem, sir. We were like we wanted to wind up because people were tired and I wanted to give them some time to read. So
Yes. I read. There were some comments. Someone typed a comment in the chat box that perhaps they are feeling tired.
Yes, they're feeling tired, and now we have to discuss some theories.
But I was wondering that in Goal Guyana, in Guyana country, it is a very good morning and a very pleasant morning there. So in the morning itself, why did they get tired?
Maybe after the long weekdays, Monday to Friday.
After having a very sound sleep of a Friday night, it is a Saturday morning there. So why are they feeling tired? I'm not able to understand this thing.
Yes, today
Because
they were
for
not
some of
responsible.
us, Saturday is the only mornings we get to sleep late.
Okay.
During the week,
Okay.
you're up at 4, so Saturday is the only morning you actually get to sleep late.
Okay. Yes. But this is another type of a unique experience that Monday to Friday you are working very hard, and then Saturday morning we are taking you to learn MA psychology. So
Sir,
you
and
might
secondly,
be needing some rest. Yes, please.
secondly, some of us are teachers on this group, and this week was the last week for school, and the records, they were a whole lot to get completed. So we were on task all week.
Okay.
Some of us also work during the weekend, so currently I'm actually on a 24-hour shift, so that's why I'm not really paying attention.
Okay. So this is your 2 years journey in MA psychology, and you have to work really very hard in your professional life as well, and in your this student life as well. So this 2 years hard work is going to pay you one day, isn't it?
Most
We
definitely, sir.
understand it.
Most definitely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It will pay off.
Yeah.
We
Yes,
will
yes,
get
yes.
fully on board soon. We just need to adjust.
Yes, we understand it that most of you are working and you are professionals, and you are busy throughout your 7 days a week. And in addition to your professional life, now you have entered the student life as well. But keeping in view some dreams, you have some dreams for your future, and to fulfill those dreams, you have to work hard in present, so that one day you are going to have a very bright future. So your present hard work is going to bring you a very bright future. So you have to invest in the present. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thanks for that motivation.
That's correct, sir.
Thanks for that
Yes, sir.
motivation.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the encouragement, sir. Much
Yeah,
appreciated.
thanks. Thank you so much. We are always here to support you. Please don't worry about anything. And if you are facing any issue regarding attendance or any other thing, you can kindly let us know. I will try that on Monday or Tuesday. I will email you one Google form link. Through that Google form link, you can share your feedback and your issues with me if you are facing any issue, in which we can help you academically. So we will be very glad to help you. Please don't worry about anything.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And ma'am, thanks for kindly giving me this opportunity.
No problem, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you. But yes, you came and motivated them. I think they need this motivation right now. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Anyway, sir, we are winding up because I want them to read their certain theories which they have to process. And I've explained them, but I want them to read and come with critical evaluation. So class, you have to, we talked about the different models of memory and two intelligence, in fact, three theories of intelligence. So you have to find critical evaluation, read about critical evaluation. So it's not that we are winding up the class, but you can use this time to find the critical evaluation of the theories, application and implications of these particular theories in our day-to-day life, where we can apply, and what is the critical evaluation of this paper, what other researchers have said. And definitely the application has to be studied. So we're not just studying for time, just to complete a degree, but where we can apply certain theories in our day-to-day life. Okay, so I really want to, because once we create this base, then only we should move ahead. Otherwise, it would be no use. Okay.
Miss,
Yes, Jacob.
I just want to be on the same page with you. For tomorrow, I'll be doing a critical evaluation and application of Spearman's two-factor theory and Thorndike's theory. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
That'll be at the start of the class or the end of the class?
We can start with that, whatever you wish.
Thank you.
We can
I prefer to the start. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And who would like to take?
Excuse me,
who would
miss?
like to take? Yes, Janet.
Janet here. In terms of the basically what you are expecting of us. Well, I think you gave, not I think, I know that you gave me the Thurstone's theory, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
based on my
Yes.
based on my little readings, he would have had a different way of how he would have done testing aside from Spearman's. So I heard that you mentioned just now we have to give some information or enlight on what other person said based on what he would have said. If I'm correct, or am I on the another train?
So you can write a critical. evaluation. Janet, please. Janet, so you critical evaluation. Janet, please mute yourself.
Arlene, can kindly mute.
Yeah. Okay. So yes. Now I'm confused how to whom who should take which topic. So whatever you want. So I've already taken. I think Jacob has already decided he want to take the critical appraisal of Spearman's theory. Anyone, I think we can have different opinions. Whoever wants to take whatever topic you want. But yes, we can take critical evaluation of Spearman's theory, past model, and multiple theory of intelligence. This theory, everybody can have their own opinion. I mean, you can read on your own, but yes, we can start with Jacob and others will continue. Otherwise, it would be a mess assigning different topics to everyone.
Miss, excuse me, I think I have to go first because I'm looking at the nature of intelligence.
Yes, you are taking the nature of intelligence. Yes, Denisa, so you can start with that.
All right.
So I will definitely, somebody has written that you have to, I have to take the lead. Definitely I'm here. I'm going to take the lead. It's not that I'm going to leave upon you all, but yes, it should be just 4 to 5 minutes, not more than that. 3 to 4 minutes or 4 to 5 minutes. That's it. I will take the lead, but yes, I want your contribution as well. So read the critical evaluation, application, and all the stuff. Yes, Jacob.
Miss?
Thank you, Miss.
I prefer 2 minutes.
Yeah, that is fine. Yes, whatever it is, whatever you want. Just, but it should be authentic and research based. Yeah.
So, ma'am, for tomorrow, after we do our presentations, are we moving on to another unit? Or we're going to just deal with intelligence tomorrow?
Sadhna, I didn't get you. Can you come again?
Oh, okay, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just wondering, after the presentation tomorrow, will we be continuing with the theories of intelligence, or are we moving on to another unit?
No, we'll move on to other theories of intelligence. There are many other theories of intelligence now. Robert Sternberg and many other.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so let's discuss the agenda. First of all, I'll give you a quick revision on what we have done in today's class. A quick revision. Then we can start with Denisa, the nature of intelligence. Then we can go to Jacob. He will explain the critical evaluation of Spearman's two-factor theory and Thurston's two-factor theory. And Thurston's theory, you can leave it right now, but I think that one also we have done. No. Okay, Jacob, you can leave Thurston's theory. Just the Spearman's theory has to be done. And Who is going to take past models, critical evaluation?
Ma'am, I can attempt the pass model.
Okay,
critical
for
evaluation.
pass model, you can attempt this critical evaluation. And for multiple theory of intelligence, who wants to take the critical evaluation? June, Lene?
That's okay. That's Gardner's theory of intelligence,
Yes.
Miss. Gardner's
Yes,
theory of.
multiple theory of intelligence.
Okay, then, Miss. I'll try.
Just 2 to 3 minutes. That's it. You don't have to make any PPT, just a presentation.
Okay, Miss.
And then we'll continue with the other theories of intelligence and other units of the intelligence. Okay. Okay, fine. I think then we'll wind up. Thank you, everyone.